Hi everyone, welcome to part 1 of my tutorial on using Git and GitHub with MATLAB. This tutorial is going to have a few different sections to it. In this tutorial we're going to cover an introduction of what Git and GitHub are, how to install the appropriate programs to use Git and GitHub, and also how to set up our first project. I'm going to put the timestamps up for each section here, so you can skip around to a different part of the tutorial if you would like. Okay, so first of all, what are Git and GitHub? Git and GitHub are really popular tools that programmers use to manage their code projects and to collaborate with other teammates on them. Git is a version control system that tracks changes to files and projects over time. Another word to describe a project is a repository, so if you hear me use those two words interchangeably, just know they mean about the same thing. GitHub, on the other hand, is a web service that lets you manage, share, and publish your Git repositories. I think the easiest way to explain the difference between the two is that Git is a software that you install locally on your computer, and it works via the command line. GitHub, on the other hand, is a service that is hosted on the web, and it provides a graphical interface for you to use Git and to manage your Git repositories. It also serves as a platform where you can share and publish your code and work with other people. So why do we use GitHub? Well, we use GitHub because it makes it easy to collaborate on projects. It makes it easy to showcase our portfolio and have all of our projects in one place in case we want to show off to employers or recruiters or anyone we just want to show our code to. And we also use it because it makes it easy to share our code with people around the world. It's a very important tool for any programmer to be familiar with. So now that we know what Git and GitHub are, let's go ahead and get started looking at how to install it. So there will be 3 main steps associated with getting started with Git and GitHub. The first step will be to download Git, the second will be to make a GitHub account, and the third will be to download the GitHub desktop app. I'll walk you through how to do each of these 3 steps. So let's go ahead and get started with downloading Git. To download Git, it's very simple. All you have to do is navigate to this website, git-scm.com/downloads. Once here, you identify whether you're working on a Mac system or a Windows system and click the appropriate button. I'm working on a Windows system, so I'm going to click Windows. Once you click that button, it's going to start an installation process where it installs this .exe file. Once that's completed installing, all you have to do is click on the file and it will begin the installation process. Now that we have Git installed, let's go ahead and make our GitHub account. I've just gone to github.com, and on this website you should see a button that says sign up. Let's click sign up, and then we enter our username, email address, and password. I'm going to fill this information out off camera. Once we create our account, we're taken to this welcome page where it asks what kind of work we do, how much experience do we have, how we plan to use GitHub, and some things that we're interested in. This is all optional, so I'm going to skip it for now and just press complete setup. Now once I press that button, it's going to ask me to verify my email, and I'm going to navigate to my email and click the link to verify my email address. I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera now. Once I've verified my email, it will take me to this page where it says, what do you want to do first? It's going to give me options to say, start a new project, collaborate with your team, or learn how to use GitHub. I'm going to go ahead and click create a repository under start a new project. And this brings me to a page where I can set all the options for my new repository. So for example, I'm just going to say BME 3053C. I'm going to skip the option to add a description right now. I'm going to set my repository to private. I'm also going to click add a README file, and we'll go over later what this is used for. Once we have these options set, I'm going to click create repository, and it will bring me to my repository homepage. So I can see that I have my new repository. It should be private, and I can see this README file present. Okay, so once we've created our repository, we also have the option to share it with collaborators, and that's how we're going to share this with our teammates so we can work on the same code together. So to do this, we're going to go to Settings, we're going to go to Manage Access, and we're going to scroll down to Invite a Collaborator. Here we're going to put the emails of all of our teammates. So for example, I'm just going to put another one of my emails. And what this will do, this will send an email to everyone that you choose to invite. And once they click the link in their email, they'll have full access to this repository, and they'll be able to add code and add changes. So once you get that set up, you all can work together on the same project. So once we've created our GitHub account and we've created our repository, we're going to go ahead and download the GitHub desktop app. To do that, all we have to do is go to this website, desktop.github.com, and again, identify whether we're working on a Windows system or a Mac system. And depending on the answer, we're going to either click download for Windows or download for Mac. I'm working on Windows, so I'm going to click download for Windows. Once this installation is complete, all we have to do is click on the exe file, and it'll begin the installation process for the GitHub desktop app. I'm going to go ahead and finish the installation process off screen. Okay, so now that we've finished the installation process for the GitHub desktop app, we can go ahead and launch it, and we should see the screen that says, let's get started. It'll give us options to clone a repository, create a new repository, or add an existing repository. Instead of any of those three, we're going to navigate up to File, Options, and then sign in to our github.com account with the credentials that we just set. I'm going to go ahead and enter my credentials off screen, and I'll be right back. Once we've entered our credentials and have logged in with our account, we should see this new tab open up that says Your Repositories. Now we should see the repository that we just created in the GitHub website, and I'm going to go ahead and click on it and click Clone the name of my repository. This is going to create a local copy of your remote code. The code is stored on GitHub server, and we're creating a copy of it on our own computers, and this is how we're going to work with the code and add MATLAB files to it. So we want to make sure that the code is stored somewhere where it's easily accessible. I want it to be on my desktop, so I'm going to set the path to save on my desktop. So to do that, all I have to do is click Choose, click the folder that I want, and select Folder. Now I'm going to click Clone, and it's done. So once this is finished cloning, we should be able to see a folder with the name of our repository wherever we chose to save it. So if I navigate back to my desktop, I should see a new folder with the name of my repository. If I open this folder, I'll see a README file and a .git file. This .git file is a hidden file, so you may not see it, but it tells your computer how to work with this type of file. It's telling the computer that these folders and files are to be managed by the Git software, so we don't need to do anything with this. But as long as you can see this, your repository stored on your computer, you're good. Okay, thank you everyone for tuning in to part 1 of the tutorial on how to use Git and GitHub with MATLAB. In this part of the tutorial, we covered what Git and GitHub are, how to install the appropriate programs to use Git and GitHub, and also how to create our first project and how to create a local clone of our first project. I hope to see you in part 2 of the tutorial.